lo and behold, I know you can't really see much right now, but I think you already have a pretty good idea of what we're talking about. The thing is that last night when we went to pick it up, the previous owner didn't have a ton of time. I actually had to kind of push him to meet with me last night instead of today because I knew that this thing was going to get snagged up real quick because of the price and because of how valuable these are and because of the mileage that's on it. Now, I'm not talking about like a 50,000 mile Sequoia, but it is quite low compared to what you can find them at. So he said, okay, fine, I'll meet with you tonight, but you have to be quick. I don't have a lot of time. I have a night shift and whatnot. And I'm like, fine, whatever we have to do, I'm willing to just come and take it. So I spent a total of 5 minutes looking at this car before buying it. I literally, all I did was just start her up, check the frame for rust. I listened to for some noises in the engine bay. I took a look around in the engine bay. It was dark, so I couldn't see a whole lot, but it was hopefully enough to get a good idea of what this car is like. One thing I didn't notice last night, and that was very dumb of me, is that it has a rebuilt title. I am not insanely against that. Believe it or not, every single car in my driveway right now has a rebuilt title because I frequently look for good deals, and rebuilt titles sometimes are really worth their money because they will go for cheaper, and frequently the rebuilt portion of the car isn't really as primary or as important to keep the car functional. For example, my B8 S4 that I love is a rebuilt title, and the reason why it's rebuilt is because it had roof damage. I'll throw a picture up here, you'll be able to see that. And you know, roof damage, as long as there's no water leaking into the car, it's not really as big of a deal. You know, it's not going to affect the car's reliability, and that's usually what people are concerned about when buying a rebuilt car. And in this case, I think I got a great deal. I got this car for about $5,000 less than I would have with a clean title, and it's been driving great. I've been using it left and right, as you've already seen some of the stuff on my channel. So really no reason to stay away from rebuilt titles. However, I don't know what was rebuilt on this car. Like I said, I didn't realize it had a rebuilt title before I bought it. I realized that when I got home with this car already, and that's when I actually looked at the title. Very dumb of me, but at the same time, even if I saw that, I know that I don't think I would turn the seller down or try and bring down the price, because honestly it was already so low that I knew that somebody was going to come and pick it up within the next 24 hours if I don't. He had it posted for 5 hours. We chatted for a little bit and I was on the road within 10 minutes because I knew I can't let it go away, and this car was going to sell so fast, and if it wouldn't sell, at the very least the seller would bring up the price because he would get offers from other people. Anyhow, I didn't have enough time to look at it very closely, so that's what we're going to be doing today, and we're going to find out if it was actually worth buying. I mean, we drove it an hour and a half to our house, so it can't be that bad, but I definitely want to take a good look around and see what we're dealing with. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Right, unlocking might be important. Let me move the seat back because KJ is 5 feet tall and I would break my spine if I try to fit in that. One of the known issues with it is that the latch for the rear hatch is broken. Let's see if I can get this one open. And I think he said the rear window doesn't work either. I suppose we can try and find that out. Yeah, I'm not getting any. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Didn't know there was a panic button in the back. All right, we're not able to get in there. I took a look at the frame yesterday because that is a known issue with these cars, is having too much rust on the frame, and that's how they frequently die, because the engine won't really die. So we definitely have some solid rust all the way through here under the what are they called, rocker panels. Oh, that is some significant rust. Okay, that is what it is. The frame, however, isn't in too bad of a shape. I don't see any holes through it. Surface rust mostly. The exhaust is a little crappy, but oh well. Who needs the exhaust anyway? Relatively new tires ish. Yeah, okay, so he said they were new. They don't look that new to me. Let's hop in the back seat. The interior is super clean. Really couldn't complain at all about this. A couple of coins, he definitely had it detailed before selling this thing. Okay, let's see if I can flip you up. There you go. Aha, so this is what their fix is. They just drilled a hole and put this cable in here. Fine, it doesn't want to open. That's issue number one. Issue number two is that the rear window does not roll down. We got a garage opener, sunroof. This is a really good spec. Something we couldn't figure out yesterday was this aftermarket head unit. We couldn't get KJ's phone connected to it because the memory for it is full. It has already 3 phones on there. But that's something I'll get around to later. Let's take a look under the hood. The previous owner did mention that there was an issue with the hood latch. And we have memory seats. Nice click. So this fender is in a pretty ugly shape, as you can see. We have some rust coming in, clear coat peeling, not fantastic, but I won't complain too much about it. I'll probably paint this thing because I don't want to be dealing with the rust getting deeper and deeper on it. Where are you? Okay. Cool. So I think he was talking about this guy getting seized up a little bit, so we're going to give it some WD-40. Dirty engine bay, that's for sure, but I can't complain too much. I didn't see any oil leaks. Okay, we see some rust over here. So I'm not seeing anything too alarming. Yes, there's rust, but it is the Midwest. I would be crazy to expect a car that is so prone to rusting to be rust-free. This side is actually in pretty good shape, so I wonder if it was because this side was in an accident. But overall, pretty clean. I see 0 leaks. Something I will be changing is the timing belt. I definitely so the previous owner does have some service records for it for the last like 50,000 miles or so, and there's no timing belt on it. So I definitely think that might be an issue, so we're gonna change that. So the timing belt is something I'm slightly concerned about, in the sense that I'm not sure if that's a job I'm willing to take on my own. Sure, I work in cars quite a bit, but timing belt, if you mess that up, you've had some really bad news, and I don't want to be dealing with that. I'm a little too afraid to mess that up and end up with a garbage engine. So I might pay him to do it. It's not as expensive as an Audi's. I've gotten used to hearing $2,000 for timing jobs, timing chain replacements on Audi's, and clearly on these I see people paying about $700. Okay, I noticed some exposed wiring here that I don't really like. I don't see it being stripped, but it's not looking great. Not too big of a deal, but something to look into, I'm sure. So yeah, see how there's 0 rust over here. However, this side is just so much significantly more rusty. It's kind of weird. Not sure how to explain that. Might have something to do with an accident. These are definitely pretty fogged up. Okay, so we're right away saying that this is a one loose headlight. The mount is broken off back here. Same on this side, I presume. Okay, so at least this one isn't broken off. I'm not sure. Maybe this isn't a mount. I don't know what that's supposed to do. A lot of condensation on the inside here. So another thing to look into. Okay, some tape. Didn't notice that yesterday. See what I mean? I really took a very quick look at it, so I didn't notice some very noticeable things. But like I said, regardless, this thing was worth it. I want you all to take a guess at how much I paid for this. Leave me a comment if you know anything about these cars. They go for $7,000-$8,000 with 200k miles easy. I mean, if you go on Facebook Marketplace and look up a first gen Sequoia, you're gonna see $7,000 and $8,000 for 200k mile ones. And I think I already mentioned that this car has 157,000. So basically just broken in about halfway point before this car could be considered old and worn out. Because these things reach to 300,000 miles all day, every day, all around the world. Okay, so it is a little low on coolant, it appears. Something I'm so not used to is seeing Asian, I'm assuming Japanese, writing on parts. For me, it's always been German. So yeah, as you can see, this coolant reservoir seems to be a little low. Other fluids, brake fluid seems fine. A little too dark, might need a flush. Washer fluid, who cares? I already checked the oil, that was fine. Power steering fluid looks okay. There has to be a way to open up, to release this hood latch, or hatch latch, trunk latch, by finger instead of using the cable. I just have to find out what that way is. So much rust in here. Come on, cable, please do your job. Wow, I disconnected the cable without really meaning to. I mean, it's not like it was being useful anyway, so I guess it's fine. Oh my god, I got it. Okay, so it needs to be pushed the other way. Oh, yes. Yes. Here we go. Come on up. Slow. Okay. A little bit of a havoc here, but finally. Whew. Just come to daddy. So here's what we're looking at. I don't necessarily see the issue right off the bat. In fact, it kind of seems that, yeah, this was replaced. You can see this Phillips screw over here is already a little unscrewed. So I guess they just don't want to strip it and then put it all the way in or something like that. So somebody definitely has tried working on this before. Okay, Toyota fans, I don't mean to upset anybody or offend them, but I mean, what is up with the rust in this thing? I mean, that is not okay. I'm digging out legitimate pieces of metal that are just loose in here, covered in rust, and look at that. Now, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be connected here, and the fact that it's not kind of means that this is pretty compromised. And sure, I suppose I could crazy glue it together, because this piece here is perfectly fine. This piece also fine, but it's their connection that is compromised. I started pulling this. Instead of being lined up and connected like the way it should be, this starts rotating. While this is fixed in the car, this will start rotating, and it won't push back on this pin far enough, and it will just move itself instead of pushing it in. And wouldn't unlock the trunk. So that's why it wasn't opening for me when I was pulling on the cable. So overall, what do you think of this? Let me know in the comments. Like I said, this is not something I'm experienced with. I mean, simply look at my driveway. The existing cars here, I have 3 S4s. There is a common theme here, that's for sure, and that would be they're all all-wheel drive. That's probably about as much as all these cars have in common. KJ's Solara is what we're going to be trading in for this. By the way, I forgot to mention this. So, full disclosure, I didn't exactly buy this car for Kira. I mean, I did. I spent my own money on it, and this is going to be her car. Basically, I will be getting that money back because we're going to sell her Solara, which should sell for a little more than what we paid for this one. And we'll basically make our money back, and that'll go back to my flip car fund. I'm sorry, I hope you didn't think I clickbaited you. I guess to an extent I did, but I still bought this car with my money for KJ. Further, I'm not as selfless as you might think, basically is what I'm trying to say. I bought this also because I need something with a towing capacity, like I already mentioned. I want a car that will, or a truck that can haul stuff. Do you think I should keep this off and to make sure that the window doesn't fall down when I close the trunk? Probably. Yeah, that would make sense. I need to stop talking and thinking about multiple things at once. I apologize for that. Its main purpose is going to be KJ's daily. But I'm also going to be using this to haul around trailers with new cars I end up buying that and turn out to be not drivable and whatnot. Because I don't have anything here that can tow stuff. Apart from little motorcycle trailers. As you can check out in my previous videos, I took my daily B8S4 to Detroit to pick up a motorcycle with a U-Haul trailer on. That was fun. That was my first time actually towing anything with my own vehicle. So it was a very new one for me. I'm probably going to look like a noob. A lot of people who tow a lot are going to think I'm an idiot for making that video. But for me it was a new experience, and you don't always see cars like that hauling around anything on trailers. Most people will put a hitch on there to put a bike rack on top of it, but that's it. So that was fun. But yeah, I need something that has a significant towing capacity. And sure, these aren't as crazy as American-made trucks like Expedition and F-250s and whatnot. This is the towing capacity on this is 5,000 pounds, 5,500 maybe, something like that. But this car did come with a towing package. I found the little spec sheet that came with this car when they bought it. So it does have a tow package, which is great news. That means that the towing capacity is cranked up to 6,400, I believe. And with that, I think I can get pretty solid cars. Like my benchmark was to make sure that this car can just like my daily, because one day I want to buy one of those as a flip car and fix that. So basically, yes, I need something that can haul. That was number one priority. Number two was SUV, because KJ really wants to have an SUV, and she's just like any tiny little girl. She wants a big ass truck just to compensate for something. I mean, she's this tall. Anyway, I also like the fact that reliability, you know, it was between this car and buying a. On that thought, let me pause. I want to go back inside because it's starting to get chilly, and I shouldn't waste daytime while I'm out here. So I'm gonna pack up and continue this conversation back inside the house. I just make sure that I can close this trunk without the window coming down again. I'm bolting this up just to not put that much stress in the wire and not have to worry about this. But anyway, let's close her up and see what happens to the window. I hope you don't mind me putting away my dishes while talking to you. I bought the Sequoia for towing capacity, but I also wouldn't want to spend all the money on a truck that I would use for towing that would most of the time just sit there in the driveway waiting for me to buy something. because it doesn't happen that often. Maybe once every a month, maybe once every 2 months. That's how frequently I tend to be buying new cars. So it would be really inefficient to buy a truck dedicated just for that. And so figured it would make sense to buy something that KJ could use because she wants an SUV. She wants something big. So she could use it on a daily basis, and then whenever I need to go somewhere to pick up a car, I can just borrow it and then bring it back to her. So that was our plan. She agreed to it, you know, and financially it makes sense. I'm quite sure that I'll be able to make profit on buying this car and then selling this Solara. I think we'll be able to sell the Solara for more. By the way, yeah, I still haven't told you how much I paid for a Sequoia, so just make sure to stick around till the end of the video. I will let you know what that was. Because of those two purposes, SUV and towing capacity, I had a few different cars in mind. I am an Audi guy, obviously. You were able to tell that by now. So I was looking into Q7s, and if I had found a good deal, I would have probably bought one. But I was also concerned about reliability. Since obviously this is going to be KJ's car, daily driver that she needs for work, I do need to make sure it's something reliable. And I'm not saying that Q7s are not reliable. They're pretty solid, especially the ones with the same engine as my S4, the 3.0 supercharged. The rumors say that it's the most reliable motor Audi has ever put out, but that's one of the later generations. It's the second to last generation, the Q7, and they go for well over $10,000. It's not something I can afford as of now, so we were just not at that level yet. Plus, even if I did, they don't have a huge towing capacity. It's kind of similar to the Sequoia, I guess. So it was really just a matter of waiting and seeing what pops up first. By chance, this Sequoia popped up for big reveal. I'm finally telling you the price, $3,800. I actually want to know how much you thought it was worth, how much you thought I bought it for. Also, let me know what you think of the car and was it a good buy at that price. Obviously, I'm not as knowledgeable about these cars as I could be. So our major issues right now, timing belt, that's on my to-do list. Frame, we're gonna try and, you know, sand it down as much as we can and paint it so that we can slow down the rust a bit. Then the window and the hatch latch, basically the trunk latch. We'll have to get that fixed. Those two are going to be the priorities, the window and the hatch, because the window keeps coming down a little bit as you keep driving, and you know, you don't want water getting in there and stuff like that. Outside of that, I think we're good. I don't think this car needs much more.